So I'm slightly cautious on this one, even though I'm going to give it a fairly high score. I'm kind of unclear why so many things had to happen the way they do. I realize we had to just go back to the Harfoots because they were missing last episode. I understand that they're fan favorites. I still am unsure what Nori's up to and what role she's really playing, but that's me. On the other hand, we are finally getting the real story finally here. This is a preparation of war episode, so war is coming. Adar is at least the titular antagonist. Everyone is gathering to face him and the orcs. So at least we have a clear cut structure to follow, and that will hopefully set up Sauron and really move the entire narrative forward. So the narrative momentum overall I thought was pretty strong. Putting the key players in the right places made a lot of sense. Halbrand not liking being manipulated by Gladriel made sense. And even some of the quote men falling into corruption and giving their allegiance to Adar also made sense. It also made sense that was really a stupid move. So a lot of things are cohesive and making sense, but yeah, there are definitely iffy moments like Galadriel taking on what, 5 men with the swords. That was pretty astonishing. I did like that they didn't overdose on super speed. I think that's very critical. We don't want to give the elves too much superpower, but was it cringy? I don't know. It's a little unbalanced. I think my major complaint is just strictly canonical that if they're going to use Morphid Clark, I just would wish they rethought these scenes and just gave her bigger height because it's just strange her talking down to Halbrand. She should just be really, really tall. Now that I think would be more effective. And I do think it's nice and effective the way they're going back and forth. And the way that obviously the Numenorians are going to help out, but they have a self-interest. From a story perspective, everything seems to be coming together. I just think they're elongating these mysteries. Some mystery is good, like who is Adar really? Is he not canonical, or is he a canonical character in disguise? Who is Meteor Man? Is he really Gandalf? Is he one of the wizards? Is he even Sauron himself? Right? Maybe just being planted. I don't know. It seems like one of these mysteries should have been resolved by now. I don't see the point of elongating it just for a cliffhanger for next season or the final episode. So that's me. So it's kind of frustrating that the episode on the whole is good. It actually is well written. The cringe dialogue has been lessened. The dramatic stakes are much more clear cut than they were previously and comparatively. I just felt that probably this last episode and this episode should have been merged together much better cohesively because there was a little bit of fat here. So I would have preferred maybe a longer last episode and then let's just skip to the next episode, which is what we're going to get presumably next week if all holds well. So I'm kind of frustrated. It feels like it is a good episode, but it could have just been an excellent one episode if they merged the last episode in this one. But on the whole, it's mostly good stuff. One thing I did find a bit annoying, again, I'm kind of mixed on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I do recognize the film trilogy did some good things, but they are overdosing on the references and allusions. So much of these episodes and these scenes in the last 2 weeks have been focused on just doing fan service for the film trilogy. So it's kind of funny that they're mixing in the Tolkien poetry with all these allusions to Peter Jackson. People think that the Amazon series is trying to destroy it, dishonor it, or totally forget Peter Jackson and J.R.R. Tolkien. I just think that's wasting time. I mean, a few references is fine, but it just kept kind of clogging things up. I think we just need more Farazon, frankly, and we got enough good Farazon. That's great, but there's something here where they keep not kicking it up to the next level. So I'm going to give it a pretty generous 7.75, but I am getting frustrated that certain mysteries are being just stretched out for no reason. Just all these red herrings. I mean, some stuff is good that we're slowing down, and Adar is reflecting on his corruption, recognizing the orcs. They can see for themselves that the sun is hurting them. They're going to have to do something about that. When antagonists and protagonists are learning or reflecting, I think that's very important for any story. I just think this thing could have been edited a lot better. And I did find the singing by the Harfoots annoying. I realize that is the culture. Again, some people are complaining that the Irish influence is a little racist. I mean, it is an interesting question in terms of the lore, whether Tolkien used Irish folklore, but it is in keeping with the hobbits that they would sing and travel a lot. I just thought it could have been done better. I mean, the singing was okay, but it just felt like just cut it off beyond a certain point. I will say this though, that is very Tolkienian that it kept going because Tolkien he just loves his singing and poetry. It just goes on and on, page after page after page. You think to yourself, like, when is this going to just stop? I liked it a little bit here and there, but boy, he just loves going back to it. That's kind of weird. It is becoming more faithful to the canonical events. I mean, that's good. That's what people were complaining about. I just think the way they're doing it is too messy. They're just trying to please too many different parts of the fandom. And I guess it's better just focus on one part of the audience per episode. Just go all with Tolkien, then go all with Peter Jackson, and just have it a much more straight line. But just constantly zigzagging back and forth between the film influence and the book influence is sometimes a little too jarring for me. Overall, it is strong stuff. The characters are finally really developed and they're finally going to be engaged in genuine narrative action. What happened with Elrond and Durin, which I think most people said that was the best stuff in the whole episode, but I don't know. It hasn't worked out the best for me anyway, but I do appreciate finally Elrond and Durin are talking very rough power talk and say, okay, what is the point of all this? And saying, well, we need you, and we need you now more than ever. It's like, okay, fine. Getting to the meat of the subject, I thought was very interesting. Still, it just feels that the editing is a little too mushy to be a completely excellent episode, but 7.75 is pretty good, and this is definitely getting better than Westworld, which I think started to pivot towards decline by the halfway point. But it seems like we basically secured the foundational roots of the characters, and we're moving forward.